The ballroom of the Langford Grand Hotel glittered like a crown under the press of chandelier light. Waiters glided between towering centerpieces and crystal flutes. Photographers snapped endlessly. Tonight was Leon Hart Vale's annual charity gala, the social peak of the city's corporate elite. And in the middle of it all, Anya Lin was invisible. Wearing a black headset and holding a clipboard, she hovered by the side wall, directing staff and fixing disasters before anyone noticed them. She was no longer the girl who once walked these halls with silent dignity, polishing marble floors. She was a planner now. Temporary, underpaid, but necessary. And she hoped unnoticed. Until the crash. A loud thud, followed by gasps, broke the symphony of polite chatter. Anya's heart stopped. No, no, no. A small figure had darted across the floor and collided directly into the towering form of Leon Hart Vale, the CEO himself. The child had spilled an entire tray of hors d'oeuvres onto the front of his black designer suit. Silence choked the room. Leon Hart looked down slowly, the mess forgotten the moment he locked eyes with the boy. His sleek brows knit in confusion. His jaw clenched, because the child looked exactly like him. Same dark eyes, same sharp nose, same defiant little chin. The boy blinked up, wide-eyed. Daddy. Gasps scattered like shattered glass across the ballroom. Anya's vision blurred for a moment. She rushed forward, voice trembling. Eli, no, sweetheart, come here. Leon Hart's gaze shifted, and when it landed on her, time seemed to split open. Anya froze mid-step. 5 years. 5 long, brutal years since he had thrown her out of his mansion in the dead of night. No explanation, no mercy, just cold orders and silence. Now he was staring at her like he'd seen a ghost. The cameras clicked. Phones filmed. Murmurs became whispers that echoed across marble floors. Isn't that the maid? That's her son. She vanished after the scandal. Did she trap him? Leon Hart finally spoke, voice low, almost inaudible. Anya. She straightened her spine. I'm here in a professional capacity, Mr. Vale. I apologize for my son's interruption. The boy Eli looked between them, confused. Why doesn't Daddy remember me? Anya knelt beside him, her hands shaking slightly as she touched his small shoulders. He's not your daddy, love. Remember what Mommy told you? Sometimes people look the same, but they're strangers, okay? She tried to smile, but her lips felt brittle. Leon Hart took a step forward. How old is he? Don't. Her voice cracked like a whip, soft, but sharp. Not here. Not now. Suddenly, a board member, Alan Hargrove, stepped onto the stage, microphone in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick pause in the evening's festivities. Apparently, our event has attracted some personal drama. The crowd laughed nervously. Alan's eyes burned into Anya's. I believe the woman and her child are not registered guests. Security. A uniformed guard began walking toward her. Anya stood up, pulling Eli behind her. I'm not a guest. I'm the coordinator who designed this entire gala layout. Your team's incompetence is what led to a child wandering unsupervised. Alan smirked. Sounds like an excuse. The board doesn't tolerate drama from ex-staff turned charity cases. Leon Hart turned slowly, his voice suddenly sharp. Enough. The room fell silent again. He didn't look at Alan. He looked at Anya. You designed this event. She nodded once. His gaze dropped to the centerpieces. The candlelight reflecting in crystal, the subtle gold threading in the banners, the seamless flow of staff. It was flawless. I didn't know, he said quietly. You never asked, she replied, and that truth landed heavier than anything else spoken. Eli tugged at her dress. Can we go, Mommy? Anya nodded and turned, but Alan spoke again, this time to security. Escort them out. She's not listed. This is a high-profile event. Before anyone could move, Leon Hart stepped down from the stage and placed himself in front of Anya. She stays. Alan scoffed. And why? She stays, Leon Hart repeated, voice now frigid, final. Or I walk out. And cancel my donations. Let's see how many press articles that makes. The ballroom went dead silent. Alan swallowed hard and gestured for the guards to back off. Leon Hart turned to Anya again. Tomorrow. My office. 10 a.m. I don't work for you anymore. This isn't about work, he said, and his voice was unreadable. It's about him. He nodded toward Eli. Anya's chest tightened. She felt the floor tilt beneath her heels. Her fingers gripped Eli's hand tighter. Leon Hart stepped back, as if giving her space. Anya didn't say yes. But she didn't say no, either. And as she walked out of the ballroom with 1,000 eyes behind her and her son's small hand in hers, her mind burned with one thought.
He saw him.
He saw the truth. And now, nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, the skyline pierced a stormy gray sky like steel fingers, and the top floors of Vale Global shimmered through misted glass. It looked cold, unforgiving, just like the man waiting inside. Anya stared up at the building from across the street, holding Eli's hand. Her heels felt heavier with every step toward the revolving doors. It had been 5 years since she last stepped into that tower. Back then, she had walked out with nothing but a suitcase, a son growing inside her, and a heart in ruins. Now she walked in with her chin high, a child at her side, and answers she'd kept locked away like glass shards. The receptionist's eyes widened the moment she saw them. Mr. Vale is expecting you. Executive floor. Private elevator. Anya nodded, her voice cool. Thank you. Inside the elevator, Eli fidgeted with the strap on his backpack. Mommy, that man last night. Why did he look like me? Her heart twisted, but she kept her voice gentle. I told you, baby. Sometimes it just happens. People can look alike. Doesn't mean anything. Eli nodded solemnly but didn't look convinced. As the elevator dinged open, she was struck by how little had changed. The penthouse floor still gleamed with minimalist marble, floor-to-ceiling glass, and curated silence. A world that never had space for people like her. Leon Hart stood by the window, his back to her. And when he turned, the stillness cracked. His suit today was dark gray, tailored sharp. But it wasn't the expensive fabric that unsettled her. It was the look in his eyes. Not cold. Not angry. Just searching. He crouched slowly. Hi there, he said softly. What's your name? Eli, the boy said, gripping Anya's leg. Leon Hart's eyes flicked upward, just for a second. He cleared his throat and stood. There's a playroom down the hall. I asked HR to stock it with art supplies. Anya raised an eyebrow. You think I'd just let him out of my sight? His lips twitched into something half between a smile and a sigh. He'll be supervised. You'll be able to see him on the security feed. A long pause. Then finally she nodded. A secretary arrived quietly and took Eli's hand. Anya watched her son disappear down the hallway. The moment the door clicked shut, the silence became suffocating. You knew, Leon Hart said, voice low. Didn't you? Anya crossed her arms. Knew what? That he was mine. Her laugh was bitter. You think I had the luxury of confirming anything while I was being dragged out of your house in the middle of the night? You didn't even let me speak. I was told you. Exactly, she snapped. Told. And you believed it. Like it meant nothing to you. Like I meant nothing. Leon Hart stepped closer. His face was unreadable. You disappeared. I searched for you. Her eyes burned. Did you? Because I lived 5 miles from your estate. I worked jobs so small, your driver could have spotted me by accident. He flinched slightly. You weren't ready to find me. Not really, she said. Because if you were, you would have looked beyond what people told you. He exhaled slowly, turning away to the window. Why didn't you ever come back? He asked. Anya's voice was quieter now, but firmer. Because I didn't want to raise a child as a secret or a shame. I gave Eli a life where love didn't come with conditions. His reflection in the glass was tense. What if I want to be in his life now? You don't get to want that, she said, eyes flashing. You have to earn it. Leon Hart turned then. And how do I do that? You start by proving he won't be a pawn in your games. That you're not just reacting out of guilt or pride. They stood there, the silence thick again. Finally, she walked to the door. I said what I needed to.
You've seen him. You know now.
Whatever you decide to do next, make sure it's for him, not for you. Just as she reached for the handle, he spoke. I'm ordering a paternity test. She froze.
Slowly, she turned.
Do it. But don't think that makes you a father. It just makes you sure. She opened the door and stepped out, only to stop short. Standing at the far end of the hallway, holding a file, was Alan Hargrove. And he wasn't alone. A tabloid journalist stood beside him, phone in hand, recording. Anya's blood ran cold. Alan smirked. Smile, Miss Lynn. Or should I say, Miss Scandal Reborn. The flash of the camera lit up the hallway like a lightning strike. Anya's hand flew up to shield her face, but it was too late. The shutter had clicked, freezing her stunned expression, Eli's name written on the file she'd just collected from the receptionist, and Leon Hart's door ajar behind her. Alan Hargrove's grin widened. The tabloid journalist beside him was already tapping furiously on her phone. Probably uploading the picture. Probably captioning it. CEO's secret son? Mystery woman confronts billionaire in private office. Anya's voice sliced through the tension. What the hell do you think you're doing, Alan? He didn't even flinch. Oh, just ensuring the truth comes to light. The board deserves transparency, especially when a certain someone is jeopardizing the company's image with personal baggage. Leon Hart appeared behind her, his eyes immediately locking onto Alan.
Cold. Deadly.
You planned this, Leon Hart said, voice dangerously quiet. Alan shrugged. The press was already sniffing around after your little gala stunt. I just gave them something juicier. Leon Hart stepped past Anya, standing directly in front of his longtime rival. You brought a reporter into my building. Without clearance. Alan leaned in, lowering his voice. I also brought a legal document. Want to guess what it is? Leon Hart didn't blink. It's a motion for an emergency board meeting. I'm calling a vote. Your judgment is compromised, Leon Hart. Personal distractions, secret children, emotional instability. It's time we reevaluated your position. A beat of silence passed. Leon Hart's hand slowly curled into a fist. But Anya, still at his back, placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Don't. That's what he wants. Her voice was steady, calm. But inside, her chest was pounding. She hadn't anticipated this.
Not so soon.
Not this public. Alan turned to her now. Oh, and you. You should be very careful, Miss Lynn. Or should I say, Miss Opportunist. The court of public opinion is a cruel one. And you're walking straight into it with a child who, let's face it, could ruin everything for Mr. Vale. Anya's eyes narrowed. You think you can shame me into silence? Alan smiled like a snake. I think I can burn you both. Suddenly, Leon Hart moved. He didn't strike, but he did something far more dangerous. He stepped into the journalist's frame and said, crystal clear, take all the pictures you want. But make sure your headline reads this. Leon Hart Vale protects his son and the woman who was wrongfully thrown away. The room fell silent. Even Alan blinked. Anya looked up at Leon Hart. He hadn't said it to please her. He hadn't even looked her way. He said it like a man who'd finally decided to stop hiding behind power and start using it to protect. You'll regret this, Alan snapped, venom in his tone. No, Leon Hart said coolly. You will. Security will escort you both out. A few moments later, the guards were already approaching. The reporter was ushered out, still filming. Alan tried to argue, but it was futile. And when the hallway was clear, only the echo of footsteps left behind, Anya finally turned to him. That stunt, she said quietly. You didn't do it for me. Leon Hart's gaze dropped to the floor.
No.
I did it because I should have done it years ago. She didn't reply. Couldn't. Her throat was too tight. Instead, she walked down the hallway toward the small security room, where Eli sat cross-legged, happily drawing superheroes with a security guard watching over him. She paused in the doorway, watching her son, her reason for everything, completely unaware of the storm just unleashed in his name. Leon Hart appeared behind her again, his voice softer now. He's happy. Anya nodded. Do you still think I don't deserve a chance? He asked. She turned to face him. Her eyes were glossy, but her voice was strong. It's not about deserving, Leonhardt. It's about being ready. He doesn't need a press statement. He needs consistency.
Trust.
Love that isn't conditional or performative. Leonhardt's jaw clenched. Then tell me what to do. Anya studied him carefully. You want to start proving something? She said. Then show up tomorrow. Not here. At the community center. Eli has art class. No suits. No bodyguards. Just be there. Be present. He blinked. That's it. That's everything, she whispered. Before he could answer, her phone buzzed. Her heart sank when she saw the notification. The article was already online. The headline was worse than expected. CEO's secret love child? Mystery woman sparks corporate scandal. And beneath it, a photo of Eli. Not just any photo, his face was clearly visible. Anya's knees nearly buckled. Leonhardt, she breathed. They published his face. He grabbed her phone, his face darkening. I'll handle it. I promise. But she shook her head. Damage is done. And as Eli ran toward them, holding up a scribbled drawing of 3 stick figures, a man, a woman, and a small boy with a crown, Anya's heart shattered and swelled at once. She forced a smile. That's beautiful, baby. Is that Daddy? He asked brightly, pointing to the man. Leonhardt froze. Anya couldn't speak. The air was still. And then Leonhardt crouched, slowly, gently, and nodded. I'd like to be, he said softly. If that's okay. The whispers started before Anya even stepped into the art center the next day. Mothers turned their heads, pretending not to stare. Phones buzzed quietly in laps. A few of the braver ones glanced toward the door, murmuring her name like it had suddenly become infamous. Anya clutched Eli's small hand tighter. Ignore them, sweetheart, she whispered, forcing a smile as she crouched to his level. You just go paint your masterpiece like always, okay? Eli grinned and ran toward the low tables, crayons and glitter calling him like magnets. But even his innocent laughter couldn't muffle the voices behind her. Is that the boy from the headline? She really slept with him? Leonhardt Vale. I heard she trapped him with a child. Her hands curled into fists. She didn't come from power, but she had pride. She had dignity. And no viral article was going to rewrite the truth of her story. Just as she turned to leave, a deep voice stopped her. I'm here. Leonhardt stood by the door, stripped of his usual armor. No tailored suit, no entourage. Just dark jeans, a plain gray sweater, and that ever-serious expression that somehow felt more vulnerable today. Anya blinked, stunned. You came. I said I would. Their eyes held for a moment too long. The space between them thick with unspoken things. I brought something, he said, reaching into the inner pocket of his jacket. She stiffened, instincts flaring. He pulled out a simple, sealed envelope. What is that? She asked, her voice sharpening. A paternity test, he said quietly. I took it last night. I needed to be sure. Not because I doubted you, but because I had to confront what I lost. And what I almost ran from. Anya stared at the envelope, her chest suddenly tight. You took the test without asking me? I didn't want to hurt you again. But I couldn't ignore it. The moment I saw Eli, I knew. But I needed it in writing. She looked away, swallowing hard. And now that you have it? Leonhardt's voice lowered. I want to be in his life. Not as a title. Not for the media. As his father. I want him to know me, if you'll let him. Emotion clogged her throat. Do you even know how to be a father, Leonhardt? No, he admitted. But I know how not to be one. I know what it means to be absent. I've lived that. I won't repeat it. The honesty in his words cracked something in her. For years, she'd raised Eli alone, navigated birthdays, fevers, and lonely nights with only a child's small hand to hold. She had built a fortress around her heart, brick by brick. And now, the man who once abandoned her was standing at the gate, asking not to tear it down, but to be let in. Before she could respond, A scream rang out from across the center. Eli! They both whipped around. A tall boy had shoved Eli's canvas to the floor, stomping on the painting with wild laughter. Eli stood frozen, his lower lip trembling, trying not to cry. Anya moved instantly, but Leon Hart was faster. He crossed the room in 3 long strides, crouched beside Eli, and without raising his voice, gently pulled the boy away from the mess. "Hey," he said to the older child, calm but firm. "That wasn't okay. Say sorry." The child, sensing something deeper than anger in the man's voice, mumbled, "Sorry," before slinking back to his corner. Leon Hart turned to Eli, brushing glitter from his hair. "Want to paint a new one? I'll help this time." Eli's eyes lit up. "Really?" Leon Hart smiled. "Really?" From the edge of the room, Anya watched, 1,000 memories flashing through her, of the man Leon Hart used to be and the one kneeling beside her son now. This version was different. Still powerful. Still guarded. But somehow gentler. After class, Anya walked them both to the car. Eli skipped ahead, swinging his art folder with pride. "I didn't expect you to handle that so well," she murmured. "I didn't expect it to matter so much," Leon Hart admitted. But it did. Every second. There was silence between them again. But this time it wasn't cold. It was charged. When they reached the car, Leon Hart paused. "There's something else. About the article." She tensed. "I traced the leak. It wasn't just Alan. It was someone inside my company. Someone close. Why would they do that? To destroy both of us. The board has been circling for months. This just gave them fuel." Anya nodded slowly, suspicion settling like dust. "So what happens now?" she asked. Leon Hart looked at her. Now came the twist. And he dropped it without blinking. "I want you to come work at Vale Industries." She blinked. "What?" "Not as a charity. As a strategist. You know this company. You know me. And right now I need someone I trust inside." She stepped back. "Leon Hart. It's the only way I can protect Eli. And you. They're coming after us through the press. Through gossip. Through power plays. But if you're inside, you want me to be your shield?" "No," he said. "I want you to be my partner." The word hit her like a storm. Not just romantically, but strategically, politically, professionally. Everything was shifting again. And Anya had a choice to make. Behind her, Eli called out from the car window, "Mom, are you coming?" She looked at her son, then back at the man who just turned her world upside down. Again. "I'll think about it," she said. Leon Hart nodded. But the look in his eyes said he wasn't planning on letting her go again. Not without a fight. The boardroom at Vale Industries was made of glass and silence. A table of 12 watched Leon Hart Vale with veiled disdain and feigned politeness, every one of them dressed in tailored suits, masks of civility carefully painted on. Anya stood at the back of the room, uncertain whether she was a pawn or a queen in this latest game. She shouldn't have come, but she had. Wearing a sleek navy blouse tucked into a structured pencil skirt, she looked nothing like the woman the tabloids mocked. Her presence was deliberate.
Poised.
Calculated. She hadn't come to blend in. She'd come to be seen. Leon Hart sat at the head of the table, calm, unreadable, but the tension in his jaw, the flex of his hand on the armrest, betrayed the storm brewing beneath his still surface. "Let's move to the next item on the agenda," barked Maurice Lang, one of the older board members. "The unfortunate scandal involving the CEO's private affairs." Anya felt every eye shift toward her like knives. "Tabloid drama should not interfere with corporate credibility," Lang continued, fingers steepled in front of him. "But this has gone viral. Investors are asking questions. And the paternity results confirm it. There's a child." Leon Hart's voice cut through like steel. "My son." Lang's lip curled. "And the mother?" Leon Hart turned to look at Anya. "She's here. She's the mother. And she's now our lead strategic advisor on reputation restructuring. Effective today." The room erupted. "You're hiring her? This is a conflict of interest. This could destroy our image." "She already did," Someone whispered under their breath. Anya stepped forward. Enough. Her voice didn't rise, but the room stilled. Even Leon Hart turned, surprised. She walked slowly toward the table, the heels of her shoes echoing like a gavel across the cold floor. I am not here to justify my past, nor Leon Hart's. I am here because your company is bleeding trust, and not because of me. Because of your silence. Because of your failure to address the real threats. She placed a folder on the table. It slid toward Lang like a loaded gun. In this file are names. Employees leaking confidential information. A coordinated smear campaign designed not just to ruin Leon Hart's image, but to dismantle his authority. From inside. Leon Hart's brows shot up. You knew, he whispered. I suspected. And now I have proof. Lang scoffed, reaching for the file. And we're supposed to trust you? Anya looked him dead in the eyes. You can trust your money. You can trust the data. You don't have to trust me. But I'm not the threat here. I'm just the mother who didn't break when the world turned against her. Silence again. This time heavier. Lang glanced at the report. His face tightened. One by one, the others leaned in, reading. Leon Hart stood slowly, walking toward Anya. He didn't touch her, but stood close enough that his warmth cut through the room's ice. You didn't just protect Eli, he murmured. You protected me. She glanced up at him. Don't thank me yet. Because the air shifted. The door burst open. A reporter's voice shouted from the hallway. Mr. Vale, is it true you've hidden your child for years? Is this a cover-up? Cameras clicked. Chaos spilled in. Lang grinned.
Well.
There's your image problem, Vale. Leon Hart turned, jaw clenched. And then Anya moved. She stepped into the doorway, blocking the cameras with her body. If you want to talk to someone, she said coldly, talk to me. Because while you all write stories and chase headlines, I raised that little boy alone. I fed him when I had nothing. I taught him to be kind. So no, this is not a scandal. This is a story about survival. And if you want to twist that, go ahead. But I will not be silent anymore.
Flash.
The cameras paused, just long enough for one image, her, standing between the board and the media, like a shield. Leon Hart looked at her like he was seeing her for the first time. Not as the woman from his past, but as the woman who had faced the fire and walked through it unburned. And then, amid the chaos, a new whisper spread from the hall. Where's the boy? Isn't he here today? Anya froze. She turned to Leon Hart. Eli is supposed to be in the daycare upstairs. Panic shot through them both like lightning. They bolted from the boardroom. Leon Hart tearing off his earpiece, Anya throwing open door after door. And when they reached the room, it was empty. Only a tiny red backpack sat in the corner, and the door to the fire escape was ajar. Anya's heart stopped, and Leon Hart's voice was hoarse as he said it out loud. Someone took him. The elevator ride felt like eternity. Leon Hart's fists clenched at his sides, knuckles white. Beside him, Anya was shaking, but not from fear. From fury. The kind that made your breath shallow and your vision blur. Their son was gone. I swear to you, Leon Hart growled, his voice low and dangerous, if anyone touches a hair on Eli's head, I'll kill them myself, Anya said, eyes fixed on the glowing numbers above the elevator door. We're not losing him. Not now. Not after everything.
Ding.
They burst into the lobby. Chaos. Security guards scrambled. Assistants cried into phones. One of Leon Hart's executives stood frozen by the front desk, pale and speechless. Where's the footage? Leon Hart barked. The guard fumbled. We're pulling it up now. The security system was down for 10 minutes during the breach. It looks deliberate. Anya spun toward him. Deliberate? You're telling me someone hacked your building? Yes, ma'am. And the screen flickered. And there he was. Eli, holding the hand of a woman in a janitor's uniform. She was smiling. But her eyes darted to the corners, checking cameras, avoiding them. Freeze it, Leon Hart snapped. Zoom in. The image sharpened. Anya staggered back. That's Mira, she whispered. My former roommate. She knew about Eli. She hated me. said I ruined my life for a child. Leonhardt's jaw locked. And she just walked out with our son under everyone's nose. The footage continued. The woman handed Eli off to a man outside the building. Clean cut.
Suit.
No expression. Leonhardt stared at the man. I've seen him before. Anya turned sharply. Where? In my own boardroom. 2 hours later. Location: private airstrip, Vale Security Compound. The sun was setting, bleeding orange across the sky. A private jet waited on the runway, doors open, rotors humming. Leonhardt stood near the aircraft with Anya, flanked by a team of security professionals in black. This was a planned extraction, said Martin, Leonhardt's head of internal investigations. The man who took Eli is Victor Niles, junior associate to Maurice Lang. We think Lang's been working with outside forces, maybe rivals. Eli's a tool. A weapon. Leonhardt's voice was deadly calm. He's my son, not a weapon. Anya stared out at the runway. Her voice cracked. If anything happens to him, Leonhardt turned toward her, gripping her shoulders gently but firmly. Listen to me. I failed you once. I won't fail our son. I'm going to get him back. But when I do, Anya, we need to stop pretending we're strangers holding the same pain. Her eyes met his.
Glossy. Raw.
I'm scared, she whispered. I am too, he admitted. But you gave that boy the strength of a warrior. And now I see it. He's ours, Anya. He's everything I didn't know I was missing. The radio crackled. We've located the van. They're stalled near the docks. We can intercept now. Leonhardt nodded once, then took Anya's hand without asking. Let's go. 30 minutes later. Location: South Bay Docks. Rain started to fall. A storm had rolled in like a curse. The van was parked between warehouses, headlights on, engine dead. Eli was inside, small, quiet, looking out the fogged-up window. Victor stood nearby, phone pressed to his ear. Where's the boat? He hissed. We had a deal. I have the kid. He looks just like him. I want my payment. He didn't finish the sentence. Leonhardt stepped out of the shadows, followed by Anya and 10 armed men. Victor raised his hands immediately. Hey, don't shoot. I'm just the delivery guy. Leonhardt didn't blink. Open the van. Anya was already running. Victor hesitated. So Leonhardt grabbed him by the collar and slammed him against the vehicle. Open.
The
van. Victor scrambled with the keys.
click.
The door swung open. And there he was. Eli. Tears welled in his eyes. Mommy. Anya caught him mid-leap, holding him like she would never let go again. Leonhardt stepped into the van, crouching down. Eli blinked up at him. You came, he whispered. Leonhardt swallowed. I'll always come for you, he said, his voice shaking. I'm your dad. I know I was late to the truth, but I'm here now. Eli looked at him and did something simple. He reached out and hugged him. Leonhardt froze for a heartbeat, then melted, cradling his son with trembling hands. Behind them, thunder rolled. Sirens wailed in the distance. Victor was already on the ground, cuffed. But none of that mattered. Not now. Because the family that had once shattered under secrets had just been made whole in the storm.